Imagine a senior Nigerian statesman, once one of the most powerful men in Nigeria's political system, suddenly becoming the center of one of the most controversial international criminal cases in Nigerian history. A man who once sat at the top of the Senate hierarchy, influencing laws and national policy, now sitting in a foreign prison. A man once confronted by angry Igbo youths abroad, and now the same ethnic community calling on the Nigerian government to intervene for his release. This is the story of Ike Ekweremadu. Ike Ekweremadu was born in Amachara Mpu in Enugu State and rose through Nigerian politics to become one of the longest-serving figures in the National Assembly. He represented Enugu West Senatorial District and held office as Deputy President of the Nigerian Senate for multiple terms. For nearly 2 decades, his name carried weight in Abuja. He was seen as a political stabilizer, a strategic operator, and one of the most influential lawmakers in Nigeria's democratic era. For many years, he symbolized political success, long service, consistency, and influence. But outside the halls of power, public perception was not always uniform. While some saw experience and leadership, others saw the face of political elitism and disconnection from grassroots struggles. That divide became very visible in 2019. In August 2019, Ike Ekweremadu traveled to Germany to attend an Igbo cultural event. It was supposed to be a symbolic appearance, a gathering of Igbo people in the diaspora, celebrating culture, unity, and identity. But instead of a warm reception, he met anger. A group of Igbo youths confronted him at the venue. They accused him of being a bad representative of the Igbo people. To them, he symbolized political leadership that had failed to protect Igbo interests, failed to defend the region politically, and failed to respond to the grievances of young people. What followed was chaotic. He was forcefully confronted, dragged out of the venue, and publicly humiliated. Videos circulated online. Some accounts exaggerated the level of violence, others downplayed it, but one thing was clear: it was a symbolic moment. A powerful politician being confronted by ordinary people abroad in front of the world. At the time, reactions were deeply divided. Some Nigerians condemned the act, calling it disrespectful and dangerous. Others quietly supported the protest, seeing it as a sign of long-standing anger against political leaders. It became more than just an incident. It became a metaphor for broken trust between leaders and the people they claim to represent. Fast forward to 2022, and the story took a far more serious turn. Ike Ekweremadu and his wife, Beatrice Ekweremadu, were arrested in the United Kingdom. The charge was grave: conspiracy to facilitate the trafficking of a young Nigerian man for the purpose of organ harvesting. The case shocked Nigeria. According to court proceedings, the plan was allegedly linked to securing a kidney transplant for their daughter, who was suffering from kidney failure. The prosecution argued that a young Nigerian man had been brought to the UK under false pretenses, with promises of a better life, education, and opportunity, only to later discover he was being used as a potential organ donor. The charges fell under the UK's modern slavery laws. The court described the case as exploitation of vulnerability, not just a crime of desperation, but a structured conspiracy. The trial that followed was historic. It became the first conviction in the UK under its modern slavery legislation for organ trafficking. In 2023, the verdict was delivered. Ike Ekweremadu was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months in a UK prison. His wife Beatrice was also convicted and sentenced to prison, though she was later released early and returned to Nigeria. The doctor involved in the case received a longer sentence. The court described Ike Ekweremadu as the driving force behind the operation. From Deputy Senate President to convicted prisoner, the fall was absolute. For many Nigerians, it felt unreal. A man who once shaped laws, now subject to foreign laws. A man who once enjoyed diplomatic privilege, now stripped of immunity and power. But the story didn't end with the sentence. The Nigerian government attempted diplomatic efforts to have him transferred back to Nigeria to serve his sentence locally. These requests were rejected.
Hello, how are you?
The UK authorities insisted the sentence must be served under their jurisdiction. And so Ike Ekweremadu remained in prison abroad. As time passed, something unexpected began to happen. Public sentiment began to shift. Some of the same communities that once criticized him, protested against him, and accused him of failing the Igbo people began to speak in a different tone. Calls for compassion emerged. Appeals for government intervention increased. Narratives changed from anger to mercy, from protest to sympathy. Some voices began to argue that regardless of the crime, he had served Nigeria for decades and deserved diplomatic intervention. Others maintained that justice must take its course and that power should not buy exemption from consequences. The Igbo public space became divided between accountability and empathy, between justice and compassion. And then there is the family side of the story. While Ike Ekweremadu remained imprisoned and his wife returned to Nigeria after her release, life continued for their children. Their son, Lloyd Ekweremadu, entered public life. He pursued law and politics and was later appointed as a commissioner in Enugu state government. Despite the shadow of his father's case, his political journey continued. In 2023, Lloyd also got married in a high-profile wedding ceremony that attracted attention across social media and news platforms. The wedding itself became symbolic, a political family continuing public life while the patriarch remained behind bars abroad. It highlighted a painful contrast, celebration and imprisonment existing in the same family timeline. Today, Ike Ekweremadu's story stands as one of the most complex political narratives in modern Nigerian history. A man once celebrated, then confronted, then convicted, now defended. From being accused of being a bad representative of the Igbo people, and now becoming the subject of campaigns and appeals for his release. It reveals something deeper about society, how public memory changes, how emotions evolve, how communities shift between anger and sympathy, and how power, identity, and ethnicity shape public opinion. It also reflects a larger Nigerian reality. Leaders are often rejected when in power and defended when they fall. Stones are thrown in moments of anger, and hands are extended in moments of suffering. The Ike Ekweremadu story is not just about one man. It is about power and responsibility, about leadership and accountability, about justice and mercy, about how societies judge their leaders and how those judgments change with time. It is a reminder that political legacy is never fixed. It is rewritten by events, by history, and by public memory. And today, as some Igbo groups call on the Nigerian government to intervene for his release, the irony remains heavy. The same man once rejected by angry youths abroad is now being defended by voices calling for his freedom. The same man once accused of failing his people is now being claimed by them, and the same name once associated with power is now associated with prison walls. This is the Ike Ekweremadu story, not as a headline, not as propaganda, not as condemnation, but as a complex human and political journey that reflects the contradictions of leadership, society, and history in Nigeria.